mommy, community in action. What all my letters down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. What all my letters down to that. Great government culture for me too. Look, granny, letters down to that. Look, granny, letters down to that. Look, granny, letters down to that. There's a lot of history to read. Look, mom, letters down to that. Because I'm not trying to go down the road. Look, daddy, letters down to that. Family, they're going to find out that it's in. Look, granny, letters down to that. I'm here, letters down to that. Nice, I see letters down to that.
So culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have to sit.
Look, mommy, community in action. Well, on my letters down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, on my letters down to that. Creative, urban culture for me too. Look, granny, letters down to that.
Greetings, virtual villagers. How are you all doing this evening? I hope everybody is doing well. If you see to the left of me, could be the right of me, depending on how you're looking. I have my wonderful co-host here, Mr. Rodney Jordan. Rodney, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. I cannot complain at all. And as always, I'm excited to be here with our virtual village family.
Yeah, I'm still trying to adjust to just kind of seeing and talking to you once a week. Still a big adjustment for me.
I know. It seems like a long time, right? Like the earth has rotated around the sun or the moon or however that goes quite a few times by the time we convene now. But that just makes it all the more joyful, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Definitely. Well, look, some great things have been going on here at the virtual village. On Mondays and Wednesdays. Have you been checking that out?
Yeah, a lot of times I've been checking it out on the replay because I've been in simultaneous meetings. But yes, absolutely. A lot of great stuff and been sharing it with some families and some young people. So I've got nothing but positive reviews from it.
Excellent. We are having a wonderful time, definitely. And the beautiful thing about this is the village continues to grow. And we have wonderful young people who are a part of the virtual village family in front of the screen continuously. And we also have teachers who we have added on Mondays and Wednesdays who come in and do that foundational literacy lesson. And it's just been a pleasure as the village continues to grow. You know, we have one of our influencers working behind the scenes to make sure that everything comes out smoothly for our viewers. So it's really been great. This fall season has been a wonderful testament to growth and the support that we have from the village. But that is Monday and Wednesday. It's Tuesday night, and it is community connection night. And this night is more of the things that our villagers have grown accustomed to. You and I coming up here, inviting guest readers, village readers, and then having our community connector to come on who reads and talks about what, whatever she or he is doing in the community and relevant topics that matter to all of us right here, right now. So I'm really fond of this night because, Rodney, you and I, we can get going, right?
Yes, we can. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So it's exciting to bring other people on and get them in this banter with us, right?
I agree.
Yeah. So, we want to move on because I know people are excited about hearing the stories. You guys know that we are a literacy-based organization. And the whole premise of this is the culturally affirming literature and making sure that our children are motivated to read and that they become strong readers. And this is family programming time. Every time when you tune into the Virtual Village show, get the whole family to pull up and get a dose of this literacy, culture, community, and love. So are you ready to run it, Rodney?
I'm ready.
Ready to run it. All right. Well, you guys are about to get amped. You're about to get hyped. All right. So make sure you stay tuned in.
Greetings, virtual villagers. My name is Shania. And do you know what time it is? It's affirmation time. Time to remind ourselves how great we are. So everybody, repeat after me. I am smart. I have purpose. I am confident. I am valuable. My voice is worthy of being heard. I am an asset to my family, school, and community. I respect myself and I respect others. I am beautifully made inside and out. I love my beautiful hair and I love my beautiful brown skin. I am more than enough. Great job, virtual villagers. Can I get a virtual high five? Great job. And always remember how fantastic you are.
Greetings, virtual villagers. I'm Makai, and today's quote is by Frederick Douglass. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men.
This episode of the Virtual Village Show has been brought to you by Target.
But Rodney, are you powerful?
Absolutely. I am.
Is your
powerful.
voice worthy of being heard?
I am. Yes, absolutely. And I am motivated. I'm excited. I'm enthused.
Okay. Does Shania not get us ready every single day?
Absolutely. I tell you.
Yes.
Doesn't
And
matter
our
what.
goal.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rodney.
I was gonna say it doesn't matter what my day has been. When I come up here and get Shania's affirmations, I'm ready to roll.
We are ready to roll. And our goal is for that to become a mantra for our virtual villagers, for our little villagers and our big villagers, that we feel empowered and inspired. So you guys, y'all got to learn that affirmation, okay? And make that be a part of our lives, because we want our little ones at the youngest age to know how powerful and valuable they are, and to never allow themselves to be reduced, to know that voices are worthy of being heard. And to have our beautiful 10-year-old Shania come and deliver that message is everything that the virtual village stands for. Then Makai comes through with that literacy quote, and one of our favorite ones right there, that Frederick Douglass: is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. That is one of the most powerful quotes right there. And it is our job as villagers to make sure that we are building up strong children and strong readers, right?
That's right. Absolutely. That's the fundamental of what we do. And, you can't build a nation. You can't build a village without it.
Exactly. So I know everybody is curious about who our first reader is going to be. Well, I am excited about this first reader because there's a little bit of nostalgia here, a special connection that our first reader has to us, linked to somebody who you have known, you all who have been a part of the Virtual Village family, the literacy gang, since the beginning. You guys know who the first one is connected to. He is actually connected to one of our influencers, one of our Virtual Village 2020 influencers that we had. And this happens to be the younger brother of who, Rodney?
Paul.
Of our Paul Casso, right? So we are going to bring on the outstanding young Mr. Troy. Hi, Troy.
Hi.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How about you?
We are doing well, but even better now that you are here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How's your day been going?
It's been going really great.
Really great. And how's this virtual school thing going for you?
It's easy, really easy, actually.
Okay. Well, glad to hear that. And tell us, what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
In 7th grade. All right. The middle school, those teenage years. All right. And you said everything is easy. So I'm glad that you are sailing through it. So again, everybody, this is Paul's little brother. This is Troy, and he is dynamic in his own right, but he has a very special connection to us in the Virtual Village family through his brother. Now Troy, you're here to read for us, right?
Yes, I am.
So what book are you going to read for us?
I'm going to read The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963.
Can you hold that up for us? All right. And what made you decide to read this one?
My mom told me about it, and so I just want to read it.
Okay. Excellent. So will this be your first time reading it here with us?
Yes, it would be.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So Rodney and I are familiar with this book, but I have not read it in a while. So we will go on this journey with you. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to step off the screen and let you do your thing. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Chapter 1, and you wonder why we get called the weird Watsons. It was one of those super duper cold Saturdays. One of those days that when you breathe out, your breath kind of hung frozen in the air, like a hunk of smoke, and you could walk along and look exactly like a train blowing out big fat white puffs of smoke. It was so cold that if you were stupid enough to go outside, your eyes would automatically blink 1,000 times all by themselves. Probably so the juice inside of them would freeze up. It was cold. It was cold. That is yours. That is you spit. That if you spit, then that if you spit, the slob would be in ice cold before it hit the ground. It was about a zillion degrees below zero, and it was even cold outside of your house, inside your house. You put sweaters and hats and scarves and 3 pairs of socks on and still were cold. The thermostat was turned all the way up, and the furnace was banging, sounding like it was about to blow up. But it still felt like Jack Frost had moved in with us. All of my family sat real close together on the couch under a blanket. Dad said this would generate a little heat, but he didn't have to tell us this. It seemed like the cold automatically made us want to get together and huddle up. My sister Joetta sat in the middle, and all you could see were her eyes because she had a scarf wrapped around her head. I was next to her, and on the outside was my mother. Mama was the only one who wasn't born in Flint. So the cold was the coldest to her. All you could see were her eyes too, and they were shooting bad looks at Dad. She always blamed him for bringing her all the way from Alabama to Michigan, a state she called a giant icebox. Dad was bundled up on the other side of Joey, trying to look at anything but Mama. The next day, the next to Dad, sitting with a little space between them, was my older brother Brian. Brian had just turned 13, so he was officially a teenage juvenile, and didn't think it was cool to touch anything or like anyone touch him or liking anyone to touch him, even if it meant he froze to death. Brian had tucked the blanket between him and his dad down into the cushions of the couch to make sure he couldn't be touched. Dad turned on the TV to try to make us forget how cold it was, how cold we were. All that Dad was getting is in trouble. There was a special news report on Channel 12 telling about how bad the weather was, and Dad groaned when the guy said, "If you think it's cold now, wait until tonight. The temperature is expected to drop until record low territory, possibly reaching the negative 20s. In fact, we won't be seeing anything above zero for the next 4 to 5." He was smiling when he said this, but none of the Watson family thought it was funny. We all looked over at Dad. He just shook his head and pulled the blanket over his eyes. The guy on the TV said, "Here's a little something we can use to brighten our spirits and give us hope." Temperature Atlanta, Georgia, is forecast to reach. Dad coughed real loud and jumped off the couch and turned off the TV. But we all heard the weatherman say the mid 70s, the mid 70s. The guy might as well have tied Dad to a tree and said, "Ready, aim, fire." Atlanta, Mama said, that's 150 miles from home. Valona, Dad said. "I knew it," Mama said. I should have listened to Moses Henderson. "Who?" I asked. Dad said, "Oh Lord, not that sorry. Not that sorry story. You've got to let them know, got to tell them about what happened with him, Mama. There's not a lot to tell. Just a story about a young girl who made a bad, but you do tell it. Make sure you get all the facts right." Well, we all huddled as close as we could could get because we knew Dad was going to try to make us forget about being cold, but cutting up. Me and Joey started smiling right away, and Brian tried to look cool and bored. "Kids," Dad said. I almost wasn't your father. You guys came real close to having a clown for your daddy named Hambone Henderson. Daniel Watson, you stop there. You're the one who started the Hambone nonsense. Before you started that, everyone called him Christian. Everyone called him his Christian name, Moses. And he was a respectable boy too. He wasn't a clown at all. But the name stuck, didn't it? Hambone Henderson. Me and your granddaddy called him that because the boy had a head shaped like a hambone, had more knots and bumps in his head than a dinosaur. So as you guys sit there giving me these dirty looks, because it's a little chilly outside, ask yourself if I'd rather be a little cool or go through life being known as a hambonus. Me and Joey cracked up. Brian kind of chuckled, and Mama put her hand over her head. She did this whenever she was going to give a smile because she had a great big gap between her front teeth. If Mama thought something was funny, first you'd see her trying to keep her lips together to hide her gap. Then, if the smile got to be too strong, you'll see her you'll see the gap for a hot second before Mama's hands would come up to cover it. Then she cracked up too. Laughing only encouraged Dad to cut up more. So when he saw the whole family thinking he was funny, he really started putting on a show. He stood in front of the TV. Yup, Hambo Henderson. Proposed to your mother around the same time I did. Fought dirty too. Told your mama a pack of lies about me. And when she didn't believe them, he told her a pack of lies about Flint. Dad started talking Southern style, imitating this Hambone guy. Valona, I heard tell up than far north than Flint. Mitch again heard is colder than inside the icebox. Seen a movie about it. Think it was made in Flint. A movie called Non Nanook of the North. Yup, do do believe it for sure. It was made in Flint. Uh huh. Flint, Mitch again. Folks there lived in these things called igloos. According to what I seen in the in this here movie, most of the folks in Flint is Chinese. Don't believe, don't don't believe. I seen it. Nan on one colored person in the whole dang city. You and Bama gal, don't believe you be too happy living in no igloo. Ain't got nothing against him, but don't believe you be too happy living among a whole slew of Chinese folks. Don't believe you like the food. One thing them Chinese folks in the movies eat was whales and seals. Don't believe you like no whale meat. Don't taste like chicken meat. Don't taste like pork at all. Mama pulled her hand away from her mouth. Daniel Watson, you are one lying man. Only only thing you said that was true was that being in Flint is living in an igloo.
All right. So Troy, you did a great job. Everybody keep your hands.
It's messed up.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, Star, I think your do you sound again?
Yeah, something's going on interesting my mic there.
Yeah, it sounds like you have some reverberation going on.
Okay, can you all hear me now?
It's still a little choppy, but I'll talk to Troy for a minute, and maybe you can come on and come back off, or come off and come back on. So Troy, you definitely remind me of your brother Paul. So what did you think of the story that you read thus far?
I think it was kind of funny.
Oh, okay. So your brother has some skill sets with art. What hidden talents do you have?
I can cook.
Ah, you're a
Okay.
chef. Okay. What do you like to cook?
I like to cook. Like chicken and waffles, spaghettis, all that,
Okay.
all
Well,
that type of food, I guess.
we had to put off some of our in-person celebration. So maybe one day we have to come back and have you be the chef for us as once this pandemic stuff passes over.
I guess.
Yeah, definitely like that. We would definitely enjoy it.
It's still I don't at least for me it still sounds choppy, but I'm not sure what it was.
How does that sound for you?
It sounds like it's like doubling, echoing.
Yeah,
It sounds like it's echoing.
hold on one second, Star, before you go. Oh, she got already. Okay. So I was gonna try to see what happens when I mute my mic. But anyway, so you said you're in 7th grade, right?
Yes.
And where are you in school?
Where do I go to school at? Like,
Yes, sir.
Academy for Discovery at Lakewood.
Ah, you're a Norfolk student. Okay. I'm on the school board there in Norfolk, so glad to know you're an ADL student.
Yes.
And so, how long have you been there?
Since third grade, so I'm
Oh,
about
okay.
4 years.
All right. Excellent. So, you like to read, you like to cook, and what else do you like to do?
I like to play basketball.
Okay. Have you started thinking about what you want to do in the future? What you want to do once you get past high school, and if you go to college, where else did you go next? Have you started thinking about a career?
Yes, I have, but yeah, I have.
So what do you have in mind early on?
Start my own business.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. You can be an entrepreneur. Okay. All right, let's see. We got my lovely co-host back.
Can y'all hear me now?
Ah, there you go. We got you now.
All right, the undefeated. So I caught a little bit of that, and I heard you want to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
What type of business?
I might just do a clothing line.
Okay, excellent. Now I want to circle back on that book a little bit. What did you think of the story, the portion that you got to read?
I think it was like a very it taught me like from that little portion, it like showed me through the hard times you have to make light of it. That's what I got from it. That's what the dad was trying to do. And so that's what I really got from it.
I like that. That's a great summary. So do you plan on finishing that book?
Yes, I will.
Okay. I'm going to be checking on you to see what you think of it, okay?
Yes.
It was a great refresher for me, and I do not remember, or perhaps when I read that a long time ago, I had no connection to Flint because we've done work in Flint, Michigan. So when you said that, I was like, oh, Flint, okay. I've been up there several times, so I'm like, all right, and I know about that cold weather they were talking about, and I'm from Alabama. So when you said the mom was upset that the dad had her from the lovely Alabama weather up there to that vicious cold in Flint, Michigan, I definitely could relate to that part. But sweet, we thank you so much for coming up here to read. It is always a delight to have anyone from your family up here. So I want you to know that you are welcome to come back here anytime, okay?
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, but before you go, there's an initiation process that has to happen, okay? So I want to let you know that you are now an official member of our literacy gang, okay?
Yes.
So our gang's premise, our foundation is a love of literacy, of culture, community, and one another. So when you are in this gang, this means that we are going to love on you, that you cannot escape this love, and you are again welcome to come back here anytime you want, okay?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again. You did a wonderful job, and we look forward to having you back, okay? All right. Everybody, again, let's give a round of applause. Yes. That was wonderful. So now, let's see. We had that wonderful reading by Troy. And you guys, we will be right back after a word from our sponsors, okay?
Hey everyone, it is Tasha Turnbull here, owner of T2 Fitness, and I am bringing to you all the Homebody Series. The Homebody Series was created because we are now more so at home, but guess what? I want us to feel connected. I want us to feel strong together. I want us to sweat together, and I want us to build our healthiest bodies possible. So we're going to be bringing you live workouts that you can do in the mornings, in the evenings, on the weekends, anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. They're going to be low impact workouts, high impact workouts, but guess what? No matter what your fitness level is, all workouts are going to be able to accommodate wherever you are along your fitness journey. So make sure you join us because we need to work out, we need to be strong, and we can do this all from home.
All right.
This episode of the Virtual Village Show has been brought to you by Target.
All right, villagers, we are back.
Yes,
Again, we
indeed.
had that wonderful reading by Troy, and now it's what? Community connection time?
Community connection time.
Yeah, yeah. So we are Clever Communities in Action, and it's all about that, the community.
Yeah, so we have the honor of bringing on a guest tonight for Community Connection. Would you like for me to go ahead and start teasing it?
Do that, as you do so well.
All right. Okay, so I'm glad we're going to be bringing on one of our strong stalwarts in Hampton Roads, who is an attorney. He is an elected official. He is an advocate for justice. He is someone who has worked to create jobs and opportunities for young people and adults since the time that I have known him. Entrepreneur, I mean, you name it. This young man has done it all and is doing it all, and is somebody who is doing great things not only for the city of Portsmouth, but for the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. And I think he is someone who the community, if they don't know, they need to know, and someone who I know will always have the community's back. So we're pleased to have with us this evening attorney and delegate Don Scott.
Hey, I'm in the house. Thank you.
There you
Thank y'all
go.
for having me. Am I coming through loud and clear?
Coming through
We
loud
hear
and clear.
you.
I want to thank y'all for here. I want to congratulate that young man. He did a fantastic job that was just on before me. This is a great program and a great opportunity to be able to share and speak with the community about some of the things that are going on. I didn't do my homework assignment correctly. Rodney knows I'm big on homework. He gave me a homework assignment, and I'm at the office. I left my book at home that I was going to read, but you get a better treat. You get to find out kind of what's going on. Again, I'm Don Scott. I'm a delegate, a member of the House of Delegates, representing House District 80 and in Portsmouth, Virginia. But I look at my role as representing all of the Commonwealth, because the laws that we pass affect everybody in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's a privilege to be one of 100 members in the House of Delegates and one of only 140 members of our legislature. So it's 140 people out of 8 million and some change in this state that get to introduce legislation and hopefully pass it and have it signed from time to time. There are a lot of things that we have done in this last session and things in the regular session that was in January. And I can't tell the difference between the two because
I know it's
we
all
finished
run
up the
together.
regular session in March or so. And then we had to come back because of COVID-19. And more importantly, because of some of the things that were going on in our country regarding police accountability, criminal justice reform, and to deal with the budget and COVID-19. We came back for a special session. In fact, we are still in special session as I speak. I'm probably an expert at Zoom calls and Windows groups and Teams. I think it's Teams and Google Hangout. I learned it was stuff that you guys probably know all the time. And now this is a new one, StreamYard. So I'm gonna have to get hip to StreamYard. But this is a fun time. It's a challenging time. But what I've learned is the people that don't fold and stay adaptable and flexible through this process, they're the folks that end up a lot better off after some of this crisis that we're in right now. So I'm hopeful and grateful to be here. We've done some great things in education. Prior to COVID-19, this budget that we passed would have been the very best budget ever in the history of the state of Virginia for historically Black colleges and universities. So I'm proud to have played a role in that. We have been able to put some of that funding, keep it at some levels. Obviously, with COVID, we had to make some modifications, but we're still at a higher level per capita than about where we were at the time that we passed it in March. So we've done some great things. We're trying to make sure that we continue to fund public education at the level that we need to. I personally believe that we can do a lot more, and I hope to be an advocate to do a lot more. And I think we can. We've also put in, based on where we are in the budget, put in some contingency budget bonuses for teachers in our budget. So there are great things on the education front. Obviously, I'm an attorney. My heart is on criminal justice reform because I know in the African American community, we've been devastated by whereby we have, put a lot of the toxic outcomes that are in our communities because of our poverty. We have criminalized poverty and criminalize the behaviors that go along with poverty. I'm grateful that we passed a bill last session where that children in school who are doing things that children do in school don't get criminalized with a misdemeanor or a felony. We removed that school to prison. It's the biggest thing that I think we passed to end the school to prison pipeline. Because I can tell you, I know specifically of cases where children were being escorted from the classroom and they kicked a garbage can and they got charged with misdemeanor disorderly conduct. I know where a child was pushed the door, slammed the door closed, and they charged him with disorderly conduct. Things that you and I, when we were in school, maybe not Mr. Jordan, but me, things that we did in school that the teacher would have just, gave us some other means of punishment, but would never have sent the police, called the police officer on us and got us locked up. So, and had your parents come down and all that. So hopefully those are some of the things that we've done on the criminal justice reform front. We've done, I can just go on.
Delegate Scott, let me pause you for a moment. Because you look, Star, you see how he is, right? So I just want you to imagine, you know how Star, you know how you and I do. You can imagine how Dawn and I do. So, but
okay.
Dawn, I want you to take a moment and just kind of introduce yourself. You have
back up.
Yeah. You have a wonderful family, like you said.
Okay.
You're an attorney.
Again, I'm the proud husband, I guess. We still married. 15 years now. 15 years. Dr. Melinda Colson Scott. She has a dental practice, her own practice in Norfolk, over off of Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk in the Bayview area. I have a daughter, Peyton, 11 years old. For a while before COVID, she was at Bayview, but now we try to figure out COVID it's been impactful. My daughter has she's on the spectrum, so she needs a lot more hands-on. And this has been a challenge, and I can only imagine how difficult it is for parents who don't have the means to be able to do what we're doing, which is get her a lot more wraparound help. Because children who learn like my daughter, you put a laptop in front of them, you might as well told them to go play with a lollipop. I mean, that ain't nothing but candy and fun, and they're going to disengage. So it doesn't work. And then I have a law practice here in Portsmouth, and I practice all over the state. And one of the things that I fight for is just justice, wherever it needs to be. I care about the little guy because I'm a little guy. I was a little guy. So I'm always fighting for folks who other people don't see value and worth. And those are the people that I like to help. Obviously, I have others, but I love helping. I got a call today, for instance, from a Vietnamese couple who were protesting in Rico County against the immigration policies of current administration, and wherever you stand on that, but they were protesting, and they got charged with misdemeanor littering. Right, okay? They got charged with littering and got one of them got actually arrested on her job in Philadelphia, and the other person got a heads up. They were in Charlotte and got a heads up to go and turn themselves in. But these are the type of things that I like to fight for, and those are the type of things that sometimes I'll do those for free, just because I know that because I know that I would want somebody to do that for me if I were in a similar situation. So I know there are a lot of opportunities for us to but I also help out others. Obviously, there's some interesting things going on in Portsmouth, right now. We got the most powerful Black woman in the state of Virginia, in the history of the state, probably. She's the first African-American president pro tem of the Senate, which means that when the lieutenant governor steps down, she steps up, takes the gavel, and presides over the Senate. And in Portsmouth, they charged Senator Lucas with conspiracy to harm a Confederate memorial. They don't call it Confederate. It's the war between the states. They let you know how old the statute is, and what the nomenclature that they use. They call it the war between the states because they don't want to call it what it was, which was treason. But anyway, that's me. But so at the end of the day, those are the type of things that I enjoy fighting for, and making sure that we take care of the folks in our community across the board. I have, one of the things that happens when you're an African American attorney, people think you only have African American clients. That's ridiculous. I have a lot of clients across the spectrum that I help. You would be surprised because there are a lot of folks in the majority community too that catch hell from this system sometimes. Can I say that on the phone? Catch heck from this system.
You can
Catch
say
heck,
that, but I want to say to you,
system.
First of all, a lot of great welcome, and it's a lot of great work that you're doing out here, and we're glad to have you on the show. But I have a few questions I want to ask you. So I want to rewind about you being a delegate. And one of the things that I say all the time is quoting Malcolm X, where he says, "Make it plain." And we talk a lot about, everybody's talking about this national election right now, the presidential election, and we're all swirling around these politics, which is clearly important right now. But let's talk about local politics and the importance of that, and also exactly what does a delegate do? Why is the delegate important to me and my family? And how can I engage with my delegate?
All right, you asked a whole lot of more questions, but I'm gonna start where I can.
Well, you've been giving us a lot of information.
So look, she asked me about 5 run-on questions, but I'm good. So look,
I think they're correlated.
I know. So look, the first question is, how important are the local elections? They're way more important to me than the national elections. Wherever you stand on the political spectrum, all politics are local. And so what happens what's going to most impact my family is the school board members. Who's on the school board? Do they care about equity in schools? Do they want to fund the schools? Are they fighting for kids? Are they fighting for kids across the spectrum? Do they understand the devastation and trauma that kids in some of our communities have to leave home with every day and deal with? If they don't understand that, then I can't support them. I need people that understand that if I heard gunshots last night and I didn't get a full meal last night, then it's hard for me to focus on memorizing my multiplication tables. So I need people to get that. And if they don't get that, then I don't need them. I can't support them. You don't have to be in that community or be from that community to empathize and try to understand those communities and to provide support from those communities. You don't have to be Black. You don't have to be white. You don't have to be Puerto Rican, as Prince once said. But you have to be able to empathize with everyone. That's one. The council, they determine budgets. Budgets are representative of your values. You know what I mean? Where you put your money, that's where your mouth is. If I see you got a raggedy, I almost said it, but if you got a raggedy home, but you telling me that you value home, then I don't believe you. If you got a raggedy home and your car is clean, then I know where you put your heart. Your heart is with your car. And that's okay. I just want to know where it is. So what I say about our local community, we set the budget, and the budget is a contract with the community. And that's where we're going to put our money, because that's what we value. So I always talk about where you at on your schools, where are you at on the serving those who the least of these, and where are you on making sure that the people who may not traditionally have an opportunity have an opportunity. A lot of people spend a lot of time talking about national and talk about reparations. You can show me reparations right now by doing economic development in our community right today, and minimizing and removing some of the barriers to wealth growth in our communities. I don't need you to have a special bill to say you're gonna give me $2,000. That's be nice, but I'd like you to start showing me where you are right now. And that's important. And then, as a delegate, I'm one of 100. I represent about 80,000. It's based on the population of Virginia. It's 8 million. So they spread it out. They divide the population by 100, and whatever it is, that's how many people that you have in your district. And so as a delegate, I represent those 80,000 people in my district, trying to make sure that we do everything right by the Commonwealth. Of course, I want to help my district and deliver for my district, but I also want to make sure that I do things for the entire state, because I believe a rising tide lifts all boats. And I think, if what's good for Norfolk and Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, because we think we're competing with Norfolk and Chesapeake and Virginia Beach and Suffolk and Hampton, Newport. No, we competing with China and India and Russia. We're competing in Bangladesh. We're competing with kids across the whole wide world. And what we've allowed people to do is put our heads down, and we get so buried and forget that we're competing worldwide. So the more we can do here regionally and statewide, the better it is for all of our children, because it gives them more opportunity. When we start thinking, if I can just beat Norfolk, if I can just beat Virginia Beach, if I can just beat Chesapeake, then we're losing the big picture. And I know that unfortunately, there are a lot of leaders in this community that see themselves as competing with each other in this community. Like I told you before, my wife has a dental practice in Norfolk. Why would I want Norfolk to go down? I have a practice here in Portsmouth, but I represent people across the state and especially across the region. I want the entire region to do well. So I think when we have more leaders like that think regionally and at least statewide, if not nationally, especially when it comes to education, I want to make it easier for kids to get what they need in a school system that's doing great. Like I told you, I live in Portsmouth. I had to get a waiver for my daughter to go to school in Norfolk Public Schools. And I want to make that process simple and easy for parents to be able to get it. If we don't want to do charter schools, then we need to make it easier for parents to identify services in schools that serve their child, that meets their child's interests. And I think we can do that. And I'm hopeful that we'll continue to have those conversations on how we break those barriers down in these communities so we can get kids in the right place if the parents are so inclined to get them there.
Yeah. And
Did I answer some of your questions? I'm a politician, so I'll go on and on, girl. Don't play with me.
Yeah. As a delegate, and where Delegate Scott started off saying that, he's been in this special session that's been happening up in Richmond, even though some of them have been virtual and some of them have been up in Richmond. The way our Commonwealth works, much of our local public education funding is dependent upon actions that he takes, action that his colleagues take. So when we've been now since March coming up as part of this virtual village, talking about education, talking about literacy, talking about support, talking about organizations be able to access resources to carry out programs like this, he is one of 100 and one of 140, of course, working with the governor, who make those determinations in terms of dollars that flow into our communities, or dollars that flow, as he mentioned, into our institutions of higher learning, or even as a nonprofit organization, there are resources that can also flow from the state into our organization. So
absolutely,
his role as a delegate is extremely important.
And that's one of the things, and I want to add to that, Rodney. One of the things that I learned after this is my first, October, so my first 10 months on the job. I've learned, so there were things that I care about. You can put in budget amendments to get to earmark, basically it's an earmark, to get certain projects funded, nonprofits and government agencies funded for certain things. And so that's what I'm learning. I as a freshman, I was able to get a big scoop of funding for some criminal justice reform. I don't think any freshman was able to achieve what I achieved this last session as far as getting dollars to support an idea around criminal justice reform. And I want to do the same thing in some areas. Now, is this communities in school?
No.
Okay, I thought it was. I saw CIS, so it confused me, because that's one of the things that I want to make sure that we do something about, making sure that we fund those organizations that are working in schools and trying to work with high risk students.
Yeah. So
we're clever communities in action.
Yes. Oh, clever communities in action.
Go ahead and tell him so he makes sure he knows what you do and what you have been doing.
Okay, clever.
Excuse me, sir. You're a little feisty. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are Clever Communities in Action, and we focus on the improving literacy in African American children and families. And we do that from the perspective of culturally affirming literature, making sure that our children at a young age, that they're reading books and where they see themselves positively represented and where they are excited to read because they're reading stories that reflect their own experiences and they're able to see that they matter in the world. If you caught our affirmation in the beginning with 10-year-old Shania saying, I am strong, I am powerful, we make sure that the books that come in front of our children resonate those sentiments and that they don't feel shrunken in this society or within this school system. Because to your point before, when you mentioned the punishments of a child kicking a door, a child who we don't know what he may have gone through the night before, but they kick a door and they get kicked out. You know, these things all run their linear with a lack of care, concern, empathy for our children. So we are making sure, you know, our literacy culture, community, and love, that all of these things are being provided to our children in the community as well as in the schools. We do a lot of work in the school systems. We've done a lot with Norfolk, with Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, and Flint, Michigan. So yeah, but that is our focus. We've gone into digital programming now. We're virtual, and we've done a lot of things there. So, you know, we share the same sentiments here, Delegate Scott.
I love that, because, you know, and what you're talking about is, you know, it's difficult when you're new parents. You try to, you know, get your kids to be acclimate, but you also want them to have, you know, retain their own culture and their own identity. And so I think this is a great idea. I try to do that with my daughter.
Oh.
He's
back. We lost you for a second.
Go ahead. We lost you for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I also, you know, want to make sure that I give her books where she sees herself and her community in those books as well, because you know, sometimes you could get overwhelmed with the majority population's message about what beauty is, what smart is, and I think we need to make sure that we always affirm our kids. So I love your mission, and I'm grateful to be here tonight supporting it.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you here. We have how old is your daughter?
11.
11. Okay, so we have a nice list of African-American children's books that I can definitely get to you, and you can look through there and see if you find any selections that you think your baby girl may be interested in. I'm sure you'll find something. It's over 100 books. And we have an event coming up that we'll share with you as well. I think you might be excited about that. Yeah. So it's been great. I appreciate, you know, to my question, make it plain. I always like to quote Malcolm X with that. Make it plain so that everybody who we're speaking to can understand. So your breakdown was wonderful about local politics and the importance of that, as well as, again, the work that you and your wife are doing here in the Hampton Roads community. I love the fact that you said, of course, your district is important, but you were concerned about the entire Hampton Roads community. And for all of our viewers, you guys know right now that's where we are based. You know, we got viewers all around the country, but we're based here in Norfolk, in the Hampton Roads area. So the fact that you understand the connectivity and the importance of us all here, I think that's a really, I think that's admirable as well. And let's see, Rodney, did you want to close out? You got any parting questions for Delegate Scott before he leaves?
I don't have any questions as much as I just want to, you know, take the opportunity to thank him. You know, he got caught up in the office today. Appreciate him still coming through. And he started off in sharing about himself, the work that he does and the commitment that he has for justice. So whenever I get a phone call from somebody who's in need of an attorney, who I know is going to have the empathy about putting their interest first, and he's going to tell them straight whether or not, you know, what he can't do for them, I owe them to Attorney Don Scott, because what he described up here truly is who he is and what he believes. And even as a school board member, he knows that if I have parents that have a need of legal advice for how to navigate the public school system or the private school system, you know, I send them to Don Scott, because I know he's going to make sure that they are well represented and well served. And he and I met years ago when he was involved with doing workforce development with an African-American owned firm. And so he's been true to that cause and economic development and making sure that our community is well served for, I don't know how many years it's been now.
Been 15 years.
15 years. But he is who he says he is. And if you need somebody who's going to work hard for you and to make sure that there's justice in this community, Attorney Don Scott is someone that I know will stand up and do that.
That's important. That's definitely important. So again, you know, echoing Rodney's sentiments, we are definitely glad to have you up here at the end of a long, busy day, right? All of the Zoom and the calls that you've been on. So yes, we appreciate you and your time And we look forward to possibly having you back again. Because this thing isn't stopping.
Rodney already knows if he called me, I don't say no to him.
Yeah.
I figure out a way to make it happen.
Excellent. Oh, all right then.
Okay, well, I think his connection may have gotten cut off, but I'm glad he was able to.
Okay.
And so glad he was able to make it. And I think if he's still listening, just want to say again how appreciative I am of him being able to follow through the day. The hope was he would have been home with his daughter and been able to read, but we all know sometimes you get caught up in the office. But that's the type of person that he is. He doesn't like to, let us down. And so he found a way of serving his duties to his client and to the Commonwealth, and also making sure that he could come up here and connect with us on Community Connection Night.
Wonderful. Well, it was great having him. And yes, 2020 is the year of adaptation. If you have not learned to do that thus far, I don't know if you're gonna be able to figure that one out, but it's very necessary, and we appreciate that. So it was a wonderful conversation with Delegate Scott. Great community connection, and now it's time to run that history fact. All right.
Greetings, virtual villagers. I am Jameer, and I'm here to bring you today's moment in history. If you've ever tasted peanut butter or stopped at a stoplight, then you've been affected by a black scientist. Better known scientists like George Washington Carver and Neil deGrasse Tyson are names you've likely heard. But there are many, many more, such as medical scientist Suzanne McKinney Stewart, marine biologist Ernest Everett Just, chemist Percy Lavon Julian, and nuclear scientist Shirley Ann Jackson, among countless others, who contributed to the country's most important scientific discoveries.
Greetings, virtual villagers. I'm Asia, and in case you didn't know, I'm here with today's book recommendation. Jameer told you a little about Black American scientists who made a huge impact on the world. If you're interested in reading a book about them, 5 Brilliant Scientists by Linda Jones and Ron Garnett is the book for you. You can purchase this book at your local Black-owned bookstore or visit smile.amazon.com and add Clever Communities in Action as your charity, and Amazon will donate a percentage of the price of your purchases at no cost to you.
All right. So it's been a very great evening. And Jameer, do you see how he is coming through with these history facts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jameer's the man.
He definitely is an all-around talent. And for all of our villagers tuned in right now, you guys became familiar with Jameer as one of our Virtual Village 2020 influencers. And you guys see that they're still, once you come into the fold, you are in it forever. So in the beginning, we had Troy, who was Paul's younger brother, and Jameer is still here, with the history facts, and he's making things work behind the scenes. So he's just a talented young man. And you guys will be seeing more of him in front of the camera as well. And we are just so proud of our influencers and all of our young villagers and all of our youth out there. And then Asia comes through with that book recommendation. And it is our goal, once we bring the history, the moment in history, to provide a book that is either about the person or situation that was highlighted or something that falls within that realm. So you guys, if you're interested in that history fact, which I hope you are, should be, that you can purchase a book that can further the conversation for the little people in your life. So before we get ready to get out of here, Rodney, anything that you want to say to our Virtual Village family?
Yeah, just keep up the spirit. Delegate Scott was talking a little bit about some of the challenges that he was having with his daughter, just trying to still find her place in this virtual learning that's going on. That's why I think what Clever Communities in Action is doing on Monday and Wednesday night is so critically important. So I would just ask the Virtual Village, hang in there, but continue to share this great program with your family and friends. For me, it truly is uplifting, And when I hear somebody like Delegate Scott bring home how important this work is with his own daughter, we heard from Dr. Quarles last week also talk about things with his grandchildren. You know, the village is based in family and based in children and based in us supporting one another. So let's keep that up, keep your spirits up, and just hang in there as we move through the next phase of our virtual village fall season.
Definitely. We have a lot of wonderful things in store for you guys. Some great guests and some wonderful teachers coming in on Mondays and Wednesdays. And again, on Tuesday, the Community Connection Night. Just stay tuned to see all the wonderful people we have up here. And so far, everybody's been great, and we're going to keep that momentum going. So thank you, Rodney. It's always a pleasure. Like you said, it's such a long time before I get to see you again. So we'll start that clock again for the next 7 days. And you guys make sure that you tune in tomorrow and give us a share so that more people can know about this. So click that share button, and you guys have a wonderful evening. All right. Peace.
Look, mommy, community in action. Look, oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Look, oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirming, and culture for me too. Look, granny, let us down to that. Look, granny, let us down to that. Look, granny, let us down to that. Learning, exploring my history, you see. Look, mommy, let us down to that. We confident, we practice and develop fluency. Look, daddy, let us down to that. Families, they bond and they representing me. Look, granny, let us down to that. Look, I'm here, let us down to that. Nice, I see, let us down to that.
So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have to sit.
Look, mommy, community in action. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirming, culture for me too. Look, granny, let us down to that.